Hey guys, welcome to the Why So Serious podcast, where I'll be your host, Bladen, and I'll be joined by a couple of my co hosts today.
Aaron.
And Zane.
So let's jump right into the subject social media on mental health and how it affects men, women, and children. So, Aaron, as a man's perspective, we're going to jump into the men's stigma and the men topic. So, as a man, how do you feel about social media?
Social media itself, I feel like, is infecting a man's mind state. Depending on what you're watching, it can either make you an alpha or it can make you I don't want to say less of a person, but it can affect your head in a way that it should. You can go at it a positive way, like workout videos, or you can get body shamed by it a lot as a man nowadays. It's kind of hard to determine which is the way to feel about it, and it's always there now. Can't really escape it. So, do think it is playing a big role on men.
I totally agree, man. Also as a man, it's very you get quoted the term a lot, by a couple sources on social media, on Google, like it's all over the place where boys don't cry.
And
How do,
that term is used a lot nowadays. I do agree with you. They don't want us to cry. They want us to be this tough kind of exterior that doesn't show emotion. And I get where it can help, but by doing that, never lets a man have an outlet. And when they don't have an outlet to expose how they're feeling, they normally do take it out on themselves. And social media is a way to always reflect back on those bad things. Like you don't have enough money. This guy is younger than you. He's making more than you. You have to see that on social media nowadays, and it does take a big role into a person's mindset.
yeah, because there's like a lot of stigma behind it and stereotypes about men because of, oh, look, I'm gonna post on social media about how successful I'm doing, like you said, how are there's a couple of people who are just haters or whatever, like scrolling like, oh, this person's doing so much better than me. And like, I wish I can be them. I wish. And then that just plays a big mental health part. Like it brings it down. When you say so, Zane?
Yeah, I'd say I'd treat it as inspiration.
I totally agree,
Um,
man.
there, there is a certain point to where you probably shouldn't shove it down someone's throat dealing with their mental health, but I would see it as a way to grow as a person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally understand. You have to take some of the negativity to grow, but it's all about in what you post sometimes too. I do think a before and after photo is always a good inspirational thing, and it should never be treated and trolled because that really does affect a person. They're trying to make that progress of where they were to they are now. So I really do understand what you're going for that positive thing, and you gotta
Yeah.
take it in stride.
Cause I also agree, cause I like I don't know if y'all knew me back then, but for me, I used to be a very chubby person, and I always looked on social media, looking how all these people look at a certain way they eat, certain thing, and it just drastically impacted my mental health. Like I want to look like this, I want to be like that, and then each day I'm not like this person. It just brings it down and down and causes more problems mentally, and then kind of like there's countless people I see on YouTube who do it just for the fun of it. But I
They
don't
don't,
see the
yeah,
fun
they don't take
behind
the
that.
seriousness of it because they haven't experienced it how you
But
have, and you've experienced it in that way.
look how it's changed you now. You don't think it's affect you in a greater way. You did lose a lot of weight. You
I,
have more
I,
confidence.
I agree. It did impact me in a good way, but at the same time, it was such a negative way as well. Cause it literally made me go days without eating or something, or trying to look like this person, do something poor, very poor to my health and poor in my mind. Basically, have that weak mindset, and then sometimes I just feel like giving up and don't feel like I'm strong enough. But then the next day, I'm like, oh, look, this other video just inspired me to do better. See, there's a lot of controversy, I feel like.
I feel like there's no success without suffering, though. So I feel like even though it wasn't a good thing to do to yourself, it you did come out as a better person for yourself and for others.
He does
Yeah.
have a point. It's all in the outcome of the end product, like whatever you did and how it makes you in the end is really, if it was successful or not. Because not everybody will have that outcome as you, like you said, you struggled, you suffered, and you did really bad things to your body. And there are certain people that go so drastically that it does badly affect them, not in the way that you've been affected positively. Uh,
See, according to some of my research, I also found I was looking through and stuff. I had found that, like, from my perspective, not only that body shaming and body images are a major problem for men because it's not brought to light more.
I want to say that it's not only a problem for the men, but I think it is starting to affect children. It's starting to start more younger now
Yeah,
with kids picking on one another and them actually having access to
yeah,
social media at a young age.
yeah. Because also, I mean, the children are very influenced by social media, but not just children, but women as well. Like everything is perceived through a perspective of social media. Everything like tracks back, especially nowadays, to social media. If you're not living like this social influencer or looking
Mm-hmm.
like this social influencer,
Mm-hmm.
then you're doing something wrong because this person said so.
Oh no, dude, I agree totally with that point, man. I mean, like, I really do feel bad for them because women, they have so many successful female influencers
Yes,
that
they
all the
do.
women, they really do want to do
Makeup
that, and
tutorial,
it's
all
a
that.
they have so many women that suffer for that because they can't be what those girls are, and it's not their fault, and they don't see that, and they got it more than us. I gotta say that, like our workout videos compared to the makeup tutorials and what
Yes,
a girl has to go
yes,
through. Yeah, we have that physical attribute that we have to suffer through, but a woman, it's all mental. It is all
yes.
mental at the end
It
of the day
really,
with that shit.
really. I mean, the ways that you can look from it, it plays countless big part in everyone's way. Like very negative and also good ways, you know? Because like women, like as you said, there's like making countless social influencers making millions and thousands of dollars just doing makeup. And then you got these social influencers that are influencing these women, children, trying to be like, since they influence them, they're trying to be like them, these children and these other people who are watching them through the other side of the screen, social media, they're trying to be just like them. And then since they're trying to be just like them and they try and do the exact same things and see no success, they like it just basically crushes their dream just a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more over and over, which basically plays a big part mentally. I mean, it causes a lot of problems because say you're an outgoing person and you start posting on social media, and then you get this one person who's a hater who makes you self doubt and then causes these anxiety, depression, insecurities, so forth and so on just because they felt like posting good about themselves. Like cyberbullying, that's a very crucial part that plays into social media.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, it's hard to escape, and as you said, saying some people you do have to actually just take it and evolve from it to become stronger. But it all depends on the mindset and what is said. Because after doing something so much to yourself and thinking that you've actually got to that point, and having somebody trying to crush you, even if you were a man, woman, or child, it does take a big toll on you. Even if it's just the littlest of comments. If it's something that you really took your time, your inspiration, and your whatever effort into, if somebody does that to you, especially online social media where anybody else can see. So they get to see the negativity that this one person is, and they can either choose to feed and grow that fire or stop it. And Unfortunately, nowadays, I feel like more people feed the fire than try not to.
I agree. I do. I feel like we're jumping over the big elephant in the room of social media leading to suicide.
Oh yes, I totally agree on that, man.
Um,
I'm
without being said that it will always lead to that, depending on how serious it can get. And there are benefits to the social media, as you have been saying, with the
Yes,
positivity and being able to go from being suicidal and finding those chat rooms, as you said.
yes. As chat rooms like Discord, I mean, it's okay to reach. I mean, it's always okay to reach out to others, especially if you have those people. But say if you're like a single person who didn't really have all these people with you, you weren't really friendly. Say you were like with this social, you weren't really socially outgoing and stuff. You can rely on social media because there's some people who can relate to you, and like as according to some of this research I found, there are some social media posts and groups that are out there that honestly help you and make you feel better and compare to all these other hateful comments and this and that, you can just
You know, I agree. I'm 28. I will say I was very socially awkward. I didn't get to grow up with social media as y'all did, as big as an influence. My generation, it was more we had to call somebody, and when we called them, their dad would answer the phone. Nowadays, you get to actually
yeah,
just go directly to that
that's what I'm saying.
person, and I will say like the way you're saying this, it does help when you're in very dark places and you don't feel like you have that direct source anymore to go. You can find these rooms where yeah, it's maybe random people, but they give you a nice, good, warm, happy
Yes.
feeling to make you through those days and those tough times. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
It is a good positive.
While I do agree with those rooms, it can make it harder for you to socialize
Yeah.
in reality,
Yes, you're
which
so
is a huge issue with many people,
yes.
and it leads to lonesome thoughts and bad mental health.
It's always good to know the difference between your reality and your imagination. It's not bad to try and talk a certain way online and then bring it up in real life. As long as what you're doing online is trying to help you mentally and then you can put it into a positive perspective out in the real world, I don't think that people should try not to do it. But if you are starting to see signs of you being a recluse and only relying on that, try, it's not hard to
Yeah,
try to go
I
out and do it.
totally agree. But I also speak from people who like suffered like throughout that lifetime, like
Yeah.
suffered from being like, as you said, socially awkward and not
Mhm.
really a social person
It's
who
hard.
talked to. It's hard,
It's
and that
very
plays a big part, whether you're a man, woman, or child. If you go up to someone and say like, oh, it's like they come off like very like what's the I'm thinking like some
positive
yeah,
or like just
they
like
can
they
come
have
off
that
yeah
aura and
that
vibe
aura and
that
vibe. They
yeah.
like that plays a big part as well. Like you can go up to somebody nowadays, I mean, without knowing them,
Hmm.
and you could totally agree about something through social media. Like say I see you wearing uh, a Saints jersey
Hmm.
and I like the Saints, we can totally agree.
Yeah, we can find common grounds on little things like that. And it's always good. I had a friend and he made a really good impact on my life by one comment he said, and it always stuck with me. It's always good to make a person smile a day. You don't know what they're going through, so a good simple comment sometimes, or just a good simple joke to make them laugh, can change the outlook of an entire person's day.
I totally agree.
And I like that for social media. People do try to post these nice positive things, whether, it's like a good Bible quote or, it's a good quote all around that they seen from a movie, even. Sometimes those quotes really do make a person like, man, I needed that today. And I think social media is doing that. It's just not doing it heavily
Yes.
enough for
It
people.
yeah, it's like very like the stigma and stuff like surrounded by it, the ideas. Like you gotta make it big in order to be successful on social media.
And if you don't, then you become the
You
lesser and
and
you
you become
eat yourself.
criticized,
And
and
you lead
certain
to a point.
people just hate on you and
And
make fun of you.
I agree, man. You know, it's hard. And you know, it's even hard, like you said, for us socially awkward people to come out and say that it's even being like we're being affected. Even on
I
the
totally agree.
forums, you know, like when people are trying to escape online, they can't just come out and say, "Man, I'm depressed. I'm thinking about, you know, killing myself because of all of this I'm seeing, or I don't have this, I've lost this." People are trying to use that social media as an escape from it sometimes, and they will suppress those things and make it worse on themselves.
That's what men are basically like do. Like we are known to suppress feelings because we are supposed to take into account of others' feelings
Boys
beforehand.
don't cry.
That's what I said. Boys don't cry. Like there's countless research on Google you can find and pull up talking about men this. Like men this, men that. Like one of the sources I've found off of Google that is really very touching and inspiring was body images issues affects close to 40% of men, but many men don't get the support they need. That's one of the sources I had found off of Google that basically literally went into detail talking about how it's how social media helps perceive an eye of trying to have the certain body type. A perfect body leads to a perfect life, or a perfect body leads to perfect friends that look just as good as you. Or, I mean, although you look good doesn't mean you're a good person. You see, social media helps output that. Like, you can go out and post, like, say I'm in shape, very built on social media. I'm posting, talking about, look at me, I'm such in good shape.
Like a mask on reality.
Yes, I totally agree. Because, like, say you working out, like, and you're posting to social media. It's not that you want the attention and seek it. I mean, although some people do need that because they do need to seek validation as a good way because it really boosts them sometimes. But sometimes there are those certain people, like I've been saying, that hate on them because they don't look like them, they don't eat like them, they don't work out like them.
I want to add this into this topic of everything because I feel like this will help with this whole general discussion. I feel like the social media is making people lose their uniqueness.
Yes.
People aren't as unique as what we
Or
used to be.
normal.
You
Like,
know, moments and everything aren't what they used to be, and people are starting to lose the value in what that
Yes.
is, and they're not understanding the connections of the value of what those moments are now because of social media.
yeah, they're trying to make like social media the new normal, but I feel like the more, although it's a good way to communicate to others and stuff, I feel like they're like everyone who's pushing social media heavily is basically backtracking on how everyone started out. As like you said, when you were growing up, they didn't really have social media out there. So
No,
many
we did
people
not.
relied on themselves and relied on themselves to introduce themselves to others, which basically helped build their character over time. But this social media is like kind of like what you said, help build a mask around them. Like if I can be this one person playing this video game. I can act like somebody else since they don't know who I am, truly. They honestly don't know who I am because I'm playing with this random person I've never met before. And I can just pose as someone else, try to feel good, or make them think that feel bad. Yes. Or it can come out as a way where like they can like there's these accounts like these dating apps where people make these fake images of people and then get catfish and then their feelings get crushed.
And they lose
Oh,
money.
So, as you said about a mask, I remember it's an old quote. I don't remember where it came from, but I remember it going like this. Societies where everybody in society wears three masks: the mask that people see, the mask that we wear ourselves, and the mask that we wear when nobody else is around. You act differently when no one's around. You act differently when people see you, and you always have to have a certain image. Now,
Yes.
the way you act in private with us is different from when you act in private, and it's also different from the way you act at work. You always have this mask that you're constantly wearing, and social media allows you
Yes.
to have any mask, any kind of
Yes.
mask you want. You can be anything you want, and that I really do feel like hurts the mind. It
I
it
totally
allows
agree.
people to get diluted. It can help, you know, depending on what your reality is and what you need to escape.
Well, like you were saying, it can help, but it can also hurt you. Like you said, you were very a social, awkward person,
Mhm.
and I'm sure social media helped you in becoming more social.
To be honest with y'all, where my sociality came from, the help with social media is more or less, I'm able to see more and understand more. My biggest downfall with the social media and not being intact with it is understanding text. Um, I know y'all don't really get this, but when you text, there's no voice. So there's no way to actually understand if somebody's trying to
Oh
hurt you
yes.
or help you.
Oh, yes.
So I've been in
I get
predicaments
it.
where I'm like there are really like serious moments in my life that have affected my mind space just because I couldn't understand what the text was meaning.
Yeah.
It was too blunt. It's not my understanding. I don't hear a person's voice, so I can't understand. So it really does hurt my head trying
Yeah,
to
because
understand that at
it can
times.
come
The
from your.
tone of the words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Because
It
I can
hurts.
say something in a different tone of voice in person and like mean something else
And
over
that's what I don't
text.
like about social media. You lose that. People have lost that understanding of that connection, and I feel like for me, like it really does hurt. Like I can read something and I can't feel it, so I don't know when somebody's being sincere to me or not, and it really does. That hurts my head, like
Mm.
badly. It affects me.
Whether you're talking to your friend, your
Y'all,
relatives.
so it's even harder for relationships
Yes.
nowadays
Oh
because like
yes.
when you can't understand another person that you're trying to be like
Especially
intimate
over
with,
text and social
yeah,
media.
and social media, like social media is always trying to cloud your head
Yes.
with relationships, thinking
Yes.
somebody's cheating on you all the
Oh
time.
yes.
And, it hurts a lot of trust, a lot of loyalty, and the way about like how you go
It
about
literally
relationships
yes.
nowadays. And then
Yes.
another thing with big social media and dating and trying to get somebody is now like you don't have to go out and meet anybody. You can
Yep.
build a relationship from an
Through. Yep.
online foundation, and they have successful ones. They don't have successful ones. It's like marriage. You can't say
Also
every marriage is
friendships as
successful.
well. Friendships as well. They
Yeah,
have as a friend, you gotta like them. I mean, yeah, as a friend, you build this friendship and trust over time and situations like relationships. Like it honestly connects through it, through good things of social media and also to the bad.
do you feel like in your personal experience, just being younger, that it's like a better experience to like make friends over the social media or
I
like
mean,
in person?
In my personal experience, I believe you can make friends, but I believe it's not the best way to go about it. Like, not to backtrack, but when I asked you of how did social media help you socialize, I know before I was really big on social media, I was a very outgoing person, but then met this person online and I built my whole life around them, and I lost contact with all my physical
yeah,
in-person friends. Like you know this, we stopped talking for
yeah,
a year.
I agree.
We
Yeah,
stopped,
man, that
and it
happened.
it hurt.
It literally, social media played a big impact.
I'm still trying to heal from it. I'm still out there, but I'm not out there as I used to be. I don't have nearly as many friends as I used to because of the perception that social media has portrayed on me
Yeah.
of not being able to trust someone.
And it's the fact that where if they're your true friends, I mean, because you have these friends through social media where you can be like, talk about them, talk to them daily, bam, bam. I formed this friendship over social media. and say, like you said, the experience over the year where, say, if we were friends only online, I would have never really understand your perspective or your view of how it did and this and that. And as a online friend, I can just, who are you again? Like,
You know,
I
Zane,
completely
I
forget about
actually
it.
agree with you when it comes down to that and the social media affecting you like that because personally, I feel you because my last relationship it didn't end because of that, but it did play a role in it. You know, they now make it more comfortable for women to do certain kind of like
Yeah.
things on social media. So like, and I don't feel like it's bad. A woman should
Yeah.
always be comfortable, but you know, that like what you were saying, you had to build a certain perspective and everything. My girlfriend had to like do that herself. She tried to build
Yeah,
a
build
positive
herself. Yeah.
perspective as what the social media would project. Like she had to
Yeah.
be
It's
that.
like, it's the
And
part
it had
where,
developed a very bad syndrome that if she wasn't that, then she wasn't happy. If she couldn't be what she was online, then it would unsatisfy her and she would never be happy.
yeah,
And she would drag me through the
that's what
mud
I'm
with her.
saying. Like, social media plays a heavy influence. Like, literally, it's the gas pedal on a vehicle to men, women, and teens. It literally impacts their life so heavily because they're very reliant on it. Because literally, nowadays, I'm pretty sure every person you could ask, do you have a cell phone? Do you have a cell phone? And I'm pretty sure the answer would be yes, yes, yes.
Because they made it a necessity nowadays
Yep.
to have a cell phone, and by having a cell phone, you
You
always
gotta
have access to
The social media. And social media plays a very big impact, like I've been saying.
To speak on your tone of text and all that. I know when me and Bladen here first started talking again, we just talked like we were friends, but when we met in person, we were complete strangers to
Yeah.
each other.
It was like, it's the perception of where you're online, you're trying to be
Yeah.
friendly,
Yeah.
and then
Online we were friends, but
It's,
in person we were strangers.
I feel like it allows people to bullshit a lot more when they're online.
Yeah.
So you can actually,
You
you
can
also
get-
have the time to respond and think before you say as to where you're in person.
Yep.
We're in person. You don't have a thought. They're in your
Yeah.
face. You gotta answer now. You gotta say it. You can't just you can't delete a text. You can't delete a post. You said what you said.
It's out there.
It's
Well, that's another thing about some things of the social media. Once a person sees it, I don't know how they do it online,
Yeah.
but it's there. It's always for somebody to see.
Like
Yep.
it ruins. I'm sorry, Brandon.
No, you're good.
It ruins someone's whole career over something that they may have said when they were less mature.
Yeah, I can be like a teen posting, like, say I'm partying. Like, as a teen, I want to go out here. I want to party. I want to drink. I want to do this and do that and have fun. And of course, I'm gonna post on social media because I want others to like see me having fun and relive the moment. Like, I can use this like video that I had of myself of a fun moment to always remind myself of the good times, you know?
Yeah, no, because people haven't met you. That you online, that drunk or
Grown and fun,
yeah,
fun guy, yeah.
or drunk, a childish person, that is you now to them because they haven't met you in person.
Yeah,
They,
it
they
does.
can only get you in that moment. That's what's wrong with it. You're only captured in
Like,
the moment.
I agree. I could be known like in person, like as a very, very smart, successful person, and then online, and say I post one thing about like having fun with others and being intoxicated and all that. It basically ruins the self-image. Basically, because I can be like, say I'm going to apply at this job and they doing research on me, find all these posts about me on social media, just drinking, having fun, and all that. And then it just plays a big part, like a very big part in men, women, and teens' life, because many people post on social media daily. Wouldn't y'all think so?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. just it's a little bit too much, and everybody of every age and culture has been affected by it.
Yeah, it could be used in both a good way and a bad way, honestly. And that's where I think that's where we're gonna end it, guys.
Yeah, I agree. Should end it
Because
there.
it's a
That was a
very
good talk, man. Thank you for having me on the podcast. You know, this is a
Yo,
pleasure
yes.
time.
Hopefully we can do it again.
I would love another session of the Why So Serious podcast. Thank you for having me, Bladen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Even though I'll be riding with you.